Update. I found semen on my wedding dress. I don't know if it was my fiancé or his brother. Original post. I really wish I was kidding. I, 27 female, spent today shopping, drinking hot chocolate and eating cookies with my sister. I wouldn't have believed anyone if they'd said this happened, so I won't be surprised if nobody believes me. It's stupid, it's disgusting, and I'm still in shock. So today I went out to do some Christmas shopping with my sister, 18 female. I live with my fiancé, 26 male, I'll call him James, so he was at home for the day. He works in healthcare, so he works 12 hours a day for 4 days, then gets 4 days off, then works 12-hour night shifts for 4 days and so on. Today was one of his days off, so his brother, 21 male, I'll call him Dan, visited and they spent the day together. They don't usually spend time together. James is into computers and gaming, whereas Dan cares more about football than anything else. Not saying that to be derogatory, I get it. F1 is my life LMAO. They're just really different people and have never been close, which is why it was really nice for them to spend time together today while I was out with my sister. I got home at about 8 p.m. after having dinner with my sister and getting all of our Christmas shopping done. My Uncle Ray is a tailor, so he's been adjusting my dress, and he sent it back to me while I was out. James and I aren't really the traditional type, so he was at home to accept the dress from Ray and check that it was okay. I really thought everything was fine, because James texted me when Uncle Ray visited, and he sent me a picture of it. We were both really excited. When I got home, however, Dan had left and James was slightly tipsy, which is totally fine in my opinion. He rarely drinks, and he rarely sees his brother. James told me that the dress was beautiful and that he couldn't wait to see me in it. I decided to try it on to check that it was fitted properly. I unzipped the bag, looked at it, and found a weird mark on the chest piece. The top part is a corset-style thing, and there's a crusty stain across it. I've seen my fair share of semen. I know what it is, I just don't know whose it was. I'm not sure if I even care. I'm just disgusted. I don't want to touch it. I'm so humiliated that I don't want to tell anyone about it. I don't even know how to bring this up to James. I doubt it was him, which makes it worse, because he doesn't have that close of a relationship with his brother, and that's the only other person it could have been, unless other men were in our house. I can't go ruining my relationship with my in-laws before they're even in-laws. Dan is the golden child. He plays football for their hometown's team. He's my fiancé's little brother. But I also can't afford a new dress. I found this one on sale for $215. What the heck do I do? Edit. It definitely didn't happen at my uncle's shop. It's only him, his partner, and a few female workers. And I got a picture on Snapchat from my fiancé of the dress after it arrived. Now for the top advice before reading the updates. I think you need to speak with your fiancé about it. It is something that will continue to bother you unless you know. Also, even more importantly, it will weigh heavily on your mind on your special day, and that is the last thing you want. I also think if it was your fiancé's brother, you want to know that. This is someone that will literally become family to you. In my opinion, step 1, talk to your fiancé. Step 2, dry clean the dress. How do I even bring it up? I know I need to talk to him, but I have no idea how to even bring it up. Tell your fiancé what you found and see what he has to say. If he doesn't tell you what happened, tell him you're going to take a sample to get it tested and start making calls to do just that. I mean, do you really want to walk down the aisle without knowing what the heck happened here? I wouldn't be in a rush if I were you until you get some honesty. I'm sorry, this has to be so stressful and disgusting for you to even have to deal with. How would I even go about having that tested? I'm worried that would be even more costly than replacing the dress itself. I'm definitely not marrying him without knowing who did it. I really doubt it's him, but there's still some doubt. I don't know, honestly. Some stupid part of me is hoping someone broke in and decided to ruin my dress. Now for the first update. Okay, so it's been a heck of a few days. I genuinely did not expect this kind of response to my post. I'm so grateful to everyone who gave advice. I'm currently a bit drunk. Very drunk, and very angry, absolutely fuming. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear here. I'm usually a really calm person, but today that calm person has gone on a damn holiday, hopefully to a nice beach in Sydney. I've always wanted to go there. I used some of your responses to write a script that I could read to James. By that, I mean I wrote it, tried to memorize it, and completely forgot most of it. But I got the gist out, and there are a few things I wanted to let you all know that I addressed, both in the conversation and on my own. I also wanted to thank everyone who gave me advice on what to say to the guy I'm about to marry. It really helped me keep my cool. I was ready to take scissors to that dress and send it off for DNA testing. That's how badly I didn't want to have this conversation. These are the most important things I thought I should mention. 1. I asked James what he thought of the dress. He said he loved it and couldn't wait to see me walking down the aisle. Nothing suspicious. He was just excited. 2. I asked James how his evening with his brother went. I don't think anyone suggested this, but I thought that if anything happened and he knew about it, he'd tell me. We've been through a lot together and both know that honesty is the best policy. He said their evening went as well as it could have gone. His words, not mine. Dan drank a lot, but that's pretty normal for him. He tends to drink as much as he can put into his body, then throw up, then drink more. Fortunately, he didn't work in our toilet. They got caught up. James told him about his new job, and Dan ended up telling him about the girls he's talking to at the moment. That conversation lasted about 2 hours. Unfortunately, this is relevant. 3. I did get a screenshot of the photo of my dress. I'm a concept artist, so I know my way around Photoshop. I managed to mess around with filters and adjustments enough to ensure that the dress was 100% clean when it was delivered. The splatter isn't in the picture, and it really is a splatter. 4. I then mentioned that I was about to try on the dress, but there was something on it, and I didn't know what it was. I wanted James to take a look so he could help me figure out what it was and where to get it dry cleaned. Before he'd even seen it, James was concerned and already asking if Ray and his husband would know someone who could help. 5. I asked James if Dan saw the dress in person. The answer was yes. James told Dan where the dress was, and Dan went alone to look at it, while James was on the phone to our local Indian takeout while they were getting dinner. The one silver lining is that he saved me some cheesy naan bread. 6. I showed James the stain, and he quite literally went red. I've never seen him so angry before. Some choice words were said, and I'd rather not repeat them. He spilled a lot about what Dan has been like in the past, and that info is also something I probably won't share unless it becomes extremely relevant. Conclusion? Dan jizzed on my freaking wedding dress. The splatter pattern looks like it. The substance looks like it. And I still wish I was unalive for doing this. It smells like it. I touched that stuff with my bare hands. I really don't know what else to say now. I've been writing and rewriting this post since yesterday. Most of you were right, and I really wish you weren't. I wish someone had snot rocketed a huge sneeze onto it. I wish Uncle Ray had accidentally squirted mayo onto it while making his lunch. But I seriously don't think I can wear this dress now. It's absolutely beautiful, and it was perfect, and I felt so goddamn pretty. I was so pleased about the bargain I'd found, but Dan ruined it for me. A whole conversation happened between me and James that I'm too exhausted to remember and repeat, so I'll sum it up. He's furious, and I'm furious. I don't even know if a wedding is happening anymore. Basically, James told me that the way Dan spoke about the women he'd been chatting to was abhorrent. There are 4 of them at the moment, and he's leading them all on because he wants to get laid. He said that he's in peak physical condition, he's conventionally attractive, and he's got a good job, so women should be fighting each other to get with him. He feels entitled to the affection of attractive women, including me. I feel like I'm going to hurl just typing that. I met this idiot when he was 14. I won't lie, Dan's in great shape. He has defined abs and trains every single day without fail. But that kind of body and that kind of lifestyle just isn't what I'm attracted to. I'd rather eat good food and play video games if I'm honest. Apparently, Dan is incredibly jealous that James managed to date someone like Callie, me. I've always had a grossly effective metabolism. I don't work out, but I eat pretty healthily and go on a lot of walks. My parents live in a small village, so I go on walks with them so I can take pretty pictures and eat cheesy chips and a brownie from the little cafe at the end of the walk, LMAO. They make good brownies, and the cheese on the chips is proper cheese, not plastic cheese. Meanwhile, James doesn't put effort into his physique, yet he managed to date me, who clearly puts so much effort into being beautiful. I don't. I don't wear makeup, and I don't dress up. I haven't worn foundation since before the pandemic. James is in shape, mostly because he rides a motorcycle, and that surprisingly requires a lot of thigh muscle. Dan has supposedly always believed that I was better than James because my grades were better and I was in better shape, and that I'd break up with him and move on once I realized that I was wasting my time. Fat freaking chance. James doesn't care about how fat or thin I am. I was horrendously underweight when I met him, but my butt and boobs have always been too big for me. I've been cursed with my mom's hourglass figure. My back hates me for it. I know I've rambled a lot. Most of it was probably unnecessary, but it's felt good to get it out there. I also know a lot of you wanted an update. I know what Dan really thinks about me, and I'm still taking it in. I used to get along really well with him. I was never really into football, but I've always followed F1, which I know he kind of likes, and I support a local rugby league team, which I know he really likes. I don't know, I just thought we were friends. James sees my sister as his sister, and she sees him as a brother. She's always been socially anxious, so hearing that for the first time actually made me cry. I also saw Dan as the brother I never had. I always wanted a brother. We bonded over sports the few times we spoke. I never realized he thought of me that way. I really thought we were brother and sister. What the hell do I do now? I obviously have a wedding to think about, but I don't even want to wear the dress. I don't even want the wedding anymore. If there's a wedding, Dan will be involved. James and I haven't even begun to consider what we'll tell both sets of parents. That's a whole other problem. And what the heck do I do about Dan? I want to stockpile my cat's poop and throw it through his bedroom window, but obviously I know that's not the right thing to do, even if Hermes is having some awful smelling poops right now. Maybe his name is a sign Limau. Maybe Hermes is the poop messenger. Edit. I think he knows that I know what he did. He's standing at my front door. He's been there for about 15 minutes. He keeps ringing the doorbell. Edit 2. He's given up. He was there for about half an hour in total. I think he's drunk again. I am too, but I think I've got a damn good excuse. I have a Ring doorbell, and I just watched him piss in my flower bed and walk away. Why would he still be involved? Ban him entirely from the wedding? Jizzman Dan is the son of my future in-laws. They're providing the menu and the venue. I want to ban him from the event, but I don't know how mother-in-law and father-in-law are gonna take the news. Your future husband is telling them. I have to say something incredibly awkward, but I have no choice. Dan masturbated onto my wife's wedding dress and will not be at the wedding. This is the way. It's James's family, so, unfortunately for him, he has to clean up the metaphorical mess. Plus, this nonsense is so out there that it's probably better the parents hear it from their son, even if they love you like a daughter. Also, if they have a shred of empathy, they'll be absolutely mortified that their son did that on a wedding dress. They might need a second to process. Dan pays for the dress, along with the next one you buy, if any. He also doesn't come to the wedding. If he gets snippy about it, consider taking him to court. Wedding dresses are expensive. If he starts spreading rumors about the bee his brother is marrying, go nuclear. Post your pictures of the dress and the video of him pissing in your flowers on all your social media, with explanations of what happened. Heck, go nuclear anyway if you want to. He's made his bed, he can sleep in it. Well, you'll have to have the fallout before a Danless wedding. Dan is beyond disgusting. To think of ruining this special day, not only for his brother but for you. I would not know how to proceed forward. I'm either going to have to ignore what Dan the Jizzman has done, or I'm going to have to bring it up with my future mother and father-in-law. She's been his biggest cheerleader since before he could walk. He can do no wrong in her eyes. And James is either likely to completely cut me off or beat Dan to a pulp. Unfortunately, there's no in-between. I'm currently half wondering if postponing the wedding, because insert reason here, would be better than telling the truth. P.S. How the heck do I even instigate this fallout? Don't get me wrong, I'm so insanely pissed. I want to ruin that little a-hole. There's way more stuff he's done on the dress than just this, but this is just the jizz on the cake. The parents-in-law are the ones providing the venue and the food. It's looking like a courthouse wedding with our besties. Is the only way to go. Now for the last update 4 years later. I don't use Reddit a lot, and I've just seen that this was on Best of Reddit updates because my sister sends me the interesting ones. I did lie about a lot because I really didn't want my family to find out that I'd posted about this online. I kept forgetting what I'd lied about. Enough time has passed, and I'm now certain my brother-in-law doesn't use Reddit. He didn't just ejaculate it on my dress, he took a crap on it too. That's why I was certain I knew what had happened. I'm definitely not a perfect supermodel with an hourglass figure, and a lot of the unnecessary details I gave were wrong on purpose. I was just really worried someone would recognize me. My brother-in-law is no longer in our lives. My mother-in-law and father-in-law unfortunately don't believe what happened. I said they were on my side and wanted him in therapy, but that was just wishful thinking. I don't know what goes on in their heads. I try to avoid his family when I can. They live quite far away, and they don't like traveling, so I don't see them often. My husband, Kat, and I are doing well. We managed to avoid drama over Christmas by visiting our families individually. His parents are a bit annoyed that I didn't visit this year, but I've been a bit too busy with work. Anyway, sorry for any confusion. I'm just glad this is over and that I never have to see my brother-in-law ever again. Last story. I met my boyfriend's work wife for the first time and I'm devastated. So, throwaway account, because this is pretty personal drama and I, 23 female, don't want all my friends knowing about this just yet. I've been with my boyfriend, 25 male, for 5 years now and he's been at his current job for a few years. We'll call him Jake. I've never met any of his co-workers until last night, but there's one in particular we'll call Amy. He sometimes does favors for her, fixing her car, going to her house to fix stuff around her place, etc. And I was never really concerned because he told me all his co-workers are a lot older than him. However, one night while he was asleep, his guy friend kept blowing up his phone. So I answered to let him know Jake was sleeping and so was I, so please stop calling. Anyway, before I put the phone down, I noticed 5 unread text notifications from Amy. I guess some of the spam notifications were from her. One of them said, "Great Jake, now everyone thinks we are hooking up." This really concerned me. So the next day after Jake got home from work, I asked about it. He said that both he and Amy were late for work that morning, so everyone probably assumed that. And it was just a joke. I thought it was a weirdly unprofessional joke and expressed my discomfort. He invited me to the bar with him and his co-workers that night so I could meet her and see that it was nothing to worry about. It did not soothe my nerves at all. Turns out, Amy's not a lot older than him. She's only 3 years older and super pretty. The entire night she was all over him, touching him, leaning on him, putting his arms around him, and she even kissed him on the cheek and he acted like it was normal. They were constantly teasing each other in that middle schooler who doesn't know how to properly flirt yet kind of way. She told me all about how she loves him like a brother, and also told me she's had sex with half of their other coworkers, and that she got the next morning off work because she sent a coworker nudes to get him to cover for her. Later on, she started crying and sobbing at the bar, actual tears, because she's so lonely and wants someone to love her, and my boyfriend ended up having to comfort her. I am just unsure what to do or say. My boyfriend kept acting like this was normal, that he wasn't doing anything wrong by entertaining this behavior. I can't ask him to cut her off. They're on the same unit and they have to work together. I literally do not know what to do about this, but I'm just disgusted knowing this has been going on all the years he's worked with her. How can I set boundaries when they're forced to be around each other all the time at work? Your gut is working. None of that is normal coworker behavior, and it's okay to be disturbed. One small step. Calmly tell him you need a firm boundary, like no touching or kisses, no outside of work favors, and see if he actually respects that. Thank you. I will try that and see if he respects it or not. Most people were telling me to just leave, but a part of me finds it really difficult to end a long-term relationship without at least attempting to talk out the issue with him. Your boyfriend cares for his work wife. I just hate that term more than you. The way they acted and touched in front of you, and your boyfriend sees nothing wrong with it? I think you have underreacted. asked the question, is he worth it? I was just kind of in shock because they did it so blatantly and everyone else was acting like it was normal. She was also super touchy with me and even kissed me on the cheek and hugged me a lot, despite it being our first time meeting. So I struggled with wondering if this is just how she is as a person. I know some people are just very touchy and physically affectionate, and I guess that just made me worried I was being paranoid. I don't want to seem like the crazy girlfriend,